I've been a park ranger for 15 years. People think the job is simple. Guiding tourists, pointing at waterfalls, rescuing hikers with twisted ankles, making sure the bears don't get into the trash cans. And for the most part, it is. But when the sun dips below the granite peaks and the shadows stretch across the valley floor, the woods change. The silence becomes heavy. Most rangers have a story, something they can't explain, or something they were told to forget. I have both. I work in a park I won't name, but it's one of the big ones in the Pacific Northwest. Thousands of square miles of old-growth forest, jagged cliffs, and deep, cold lakes. It's the kind of place where you can walk for 3 days and never see a road. It's the kind of place where things can stay hidden for a very long time. It started on a Tuesday, late September. The air had that sharp bite of autumn, and the crowds were thinning out. I was finishing my shift when the radio crackled. "Dispatch." A woman had called in, hysterical. Her husband had vanished. Devil's Gulch. Now people go missing all the time. Usually they wander off the trail, get lost, and we find them a few hours later, cold, embarrassed. But Devil's Gulch is different. Dense pine, limestone caves, even experienced hikers avoided. I met her at the trailhead, Sarah. She was shaking so hard she could barely speak. She said they were setting up camp when her husband heard something. A child crying in the woods. He walked maybe 20 feet into the trees, and he just never came back. No scream, no struggle, just the wind. I told her to stay back. Backup team was on the way. And I went in, alone. Half a mile in, and something felt wrong. No birds, no insects, no wind, nothing. I found his footprints, clear, fresh, leading into a thorn thicket. I followed them, pushing through branches, expecting to find him, maybe injured, maybe confused. But the tracks didn't lead anywhere. They stopped. Not faded, not covered. Stopped. The ground ahead was untouched, soft, perfect, like no one had ever stepped there. It was as if he had been lifted straight into the air. I called out, "Mark! Ranger Service! Can you hear me?" Nothing. Then I heard it. Tink, tink, tink. Metal on stone. I followed the sound deeper into the gulch, and that's when I saw it. A cave, not on any map, covered in lichen, almost like it didn't want to be seen. I turned on my light and stepped inside. Wet earth and something metallic, like copper. I shouldn't have gone in. That's rule number 1. But the tapping was getting louder, and I thought I heard someone groaning. The the tunnel opened up into a chamber, and when my light hit the floor, my stomach turned. Shoes, dozens of them, lined up perfectly. Hiking boots, sneakers, children's sandals, even high heels. All clean, polished, some new, some decades old. And in the center was Mark, sitting still, staring at the wall. He wasn't tied up, he wasn't hurt, he was just staring. Tink, tink, tink. Mark? No response. Mark, we have to go. Sarah's waiting. He spoke. The trees have no centers. They're hollow. All of them. I grabbed him, turned him toward me, and that's when I saw his eyes. They weren't brown anymore. They were white, clouded, like something dead. And yet, he was looking right at me. The cave got cold. I could see my breath. And then I felt it. That feeling when something is watching you from behind. I swung my flashlight across the chamber. And that's when I saw them on the ceiling. At first, I thought they were shadows. But shadows don't move. These did. They looked like people, but wrong. Their limbs too long, their bodies pressed flat against the rock, like gravity didn't apply to them, and their skin pale, wet, like something that had never seen the sun. They had no faces, just smooth, featureless flesh, and they were humming. Not loud, not even audible. I felt it in my teeth. There were 5 of them, maybe 6, maybe more. And they were all watching me. I didn't think. I grabbed Mark and pulled him up. He felt heavy, not like a person, like something being dragged through water, or something that didn't want to leave. I pulled him toward the tunnel. Behind us, something moved, like leaves dragging across concrete. They were coming down, fast. We squeezed through the tunnel, rocks scraping, shoulders hitting the walls. I pushed Mark out first and scrambled after him. The moment I broke out into the forest, I turned back. I shouldn't have. A hand came out of the cave. Long, too long, at least 6 feet. The fingers, thin, jointed, ending in blunt stone-like nails. It swiped right where my leg had been, and then it pulled back inside. I didn't stop running, not once. Not until we reached the trailhead. Mark never recovered. Doctors called it a psychological break, a fugue state, but they couldn't explain the blindness or why he screamed every time he saw a tree, any tree. The Park Service buried it. They said I imagined it. Hallucinations, oxygen deprivation. We were at 4,000 feet. They closed Devil's Gulch. Trail maintenance. It's been 3 years. But that's not what keeps me up at night. A month later, I was on patrol. Different sector. Clear night, driving alone. And then I saw something in the middle of the road. I hit the brakes. Boots. My boots. The same ones I wore that night. The ones I threw away, miles away. Gone. And now they were back. Clean. Polished. Perfectly placed. Facing the forest. I didn't get out. I didn't even think. I turned the truck and drove. Fast. When I got back to the station, I went straight to my locker, opened it, and something fell out. A piece of paper. Not a note. A map. Hand-drawn. But not trails, not roads. Tunnels. Thousands of them, spreading under everything. Mountains, valleys, campsites. The entire state. And at the bottom, written in shaky letters, "We are lending you the surface. Do not mistake it for yours." I still work as a ranger. I have to, because if I leave, I think they'll notice. I stay on paved roads now. I don't go out after dark, and when I hear a child crying or tapping, I don't investigate. I look away. I turn up the radio, and I wait for the sun. So if you ever visit a national park, stay on the trail. Don't follow strange sounds. And if you see a pair of shoes sitting alone in the woods, clean, neatly placed, don't stop. Don't touch them. Just keep walking. Because if you see the shoes, it means they've already picked out yours. The woods are not empty. They never were. And in the silence, you can hear them breathing closer than you think.